Welcome to The Deep Dive, the place where we take that pile of sources you've got, articles, research, maybe even your own notes, and turn them into, well, crucial insights, surprising facts, and hopefully those really satisfying aha moments. Today, we're diving deep into some really fascinating recent developments right across the tech landscape. We've got sources covering everything from the future of AI and space exploration to how companies are being valued and even what's happening with the apps you use every day.
Yeah, it's quite a mix, isn't it? It highlights both the groundbreaking advancements, but also some of the complex questions that pop up alongside them, things maybe not everyone sees at first glance. Our mission today is really to help you navigate all these different updates, figure out what's actually important, and connect the dots between them.
Okay, so let's get into it. We've got a lot of exciting stuff, thought-provoking material to explore, and we'll start with a question that, well, it's puzzled stock market investors for nearly a decade now. What is the true value of Tesla?
Right. Traditionally, Wall Street uses pretty established math, specific metrics to value companies. But with Tesla and all its ambitious plans, some argue you kind of have to throw out the old playbook to really grasp its potential as a world-changing technology.
And this isn't just academic, right? There's new urgency with their robo-taxi launch plan for June 22nd.
Exactly. That puts the pressure on.
So the core debate it really boils down to, is Tesla just an EV maker? Or is it actually a cutting-edge AI and robotics company that could completely change how we travel, how we work, maybe even how we interact with autonomous stuff? Puts it in a whole different category.
Precisely. And a huge factor here, you can't ignore it, is Elon Musk himself. I mean, he's known for pulling off these extraordinary technical breakthroughs.
Like jumping the entire auto industry into EVs, basically.
Right, leapfrogging a century-old industry.
Yeah.
Or making vertical landings of reusable space rockets seem, well, almost routine now.
Yeah. And that track record, it seems like it's earned him this almost cult-like following among some investors. They see the stock as just a straight bet on his genius, basically.
That's definitely part of the narrative.
But then you've got the traditional analysts going, wait, how does this square with the numbers? How do you balance that faith-based value with, the usual metrics?
Well, it's true. He's not infallible. We've seen that with the recent share volatility. But maybe the deeper insight here is how valuation itself is changing. It's becoming less about the traditional balance sheet numbers.
And more about what? Future potential.
Exactly. Intangible future potential. It's almost like buying an option on a founder's vision, especially his big AI plans for autonomous driving, robotics like Optimus. If confidence in that comes back, you really can't rule out a market cap way north of $1 trillion.
Wow. Regardless of traditional fundamentals.
Pretty much. It signals a fundamental shift in how we even think about what a company is worth.
Okay, so if Tesla's value points to the huge, sometimes intangible promise of AI, then this Project Rainier from Amazon, that shows us the very real, very massive infrastructure needed to actually build that future. This isn't just a few servers in a rack, is it?
Oh, no, not at all. The tech industry needs these enormous networks of specialized chips, GPUs usually, to power these increasingly demanding AI models. Amazon's plan, it's kind of staggering. Around 30 data centers spread across 1,200 acres outside New Carlisle, Indiana.
1,200 acres?
Yeah. And get this, the complex is designed to consume 2.2 gigawatts of electricity.
2.2 gigawatts.
It's essentially one gigantic machine built almost entirely for AI. And Project Rainier isn't just Indiana. They're looking at Mississippi, maybe North Carolina, Pennsylvania, too.
The real aha moment there for me is realizing that this abstract digital future we talk about, it's incredibly thirsty, not just for data, but for huge amounts of land and power. It's creating these, maybe unforeseen challenges on the ground, environmental infrastructure.
That's a really important point. And this kind of physical foundation, it enables the next big leap, AI that doesn't always need to phone home to the cloud.
Right. And this is where it gets really interesting for me. Google DeepMind. They've just revealed a new on-device vision language action model, VLA, for robots. And the key thing, you said it, full autonomy, no cloud component needed.
Yeah, this is a huge step for practical robotics. It's the first version of their robotics model that developers can actually tune for specific jobs. They can adapt it to new tasks with maybe only 50 to 100 demonstrations.
So much faster training.
Relatively speaking, yes.
Yeah.
And Gemini 2.5 Pro and Flash are central to this. They run locally, right on the robot. That lets the robots interpret complex scenes, figure out their own task plans, even translate voice commands directly into actions.
Which means they can react faster, work offline.
Exactly. It removes latency, removes the dependence on a constant internet connection. Big implications.
Okay, that's a definite game changer. And then, shifting slightly to productivity software, there's this fascinating battle brewing. OpenAI is adding features to ChatGPT, collaborative editing, integrated chat that sound a lot like Microsoft Office 365 or Google Workspace.
And it's already causing ripples in the business world. Take Amgen, the drug maker. They bought Microsoft's Copilot for 20,000 employees. But just 13 months later, turns out lots of their employees were actually using OpenAI's ChatGPT anyway for research, summarizing documents.
Even though they had the official Microsoft tool?
Yep, and OpenAI now says they have 3 million paying business users. That certainly complicates things with Microsoft, given Microsoft's huge investment in them.
So you've got Microsoft pushing its integrated Copilot, OpenAI making its own tools more Office-like. It raises a big question, doesn't it? How is this competition going to shape our digital workspaces? More direct fighting, or will the lines just keep blurring?
That's the multi-billion-dollar question, and yeah, it's playing out right now. Meanwhile, AI is also reshaping entertainment in some pretty wild ways. There's a company, Elf Labs.
Elf Labs. Okay.
Yeah, they're building these AI-powered 3D worlds. Imagine kids having real-time chats with Rapunzel or playing hide-and-seek with Cinderella right in their living room. They've secured over 100 legendary trademarks.
Wow.
And they're aiming to shake up the massive $2 trillion entertainment market.
That is pretty wild. But, I mean, does that raise concerns? Privacy, ethical stuff, beloved characters talking intimately with kids at home, that feels like a whole new territory for interaction.
Absolutely. Those are critical questions.
Yeah.
Balancing the innovation with, responsible deployment is key as these things mature. And then on the more practical side, you have 11 Labs releasing a personal AI voice assistant, 11.ai.
Okay, what does that do?
It integrates with tools people already use, Perplexity, Linear, Slack, Notion, and it executes multi-step workflows for you. Think of it like a really smart digital assistant handling those tedious tasks. Even Meta is adding optional AI summaries of unread messages to WhatsApp, just viewable by you, to help catch up on long group chats.
Okay, so from robots learning on the fly, to entertainment coming alive, to message summaries, what's the underlying shift you see here? How is AI weaving itself into daily life, maybe in ways we don't even notice?
Well, I think what's fascinating is AI moving from being this specialized tool you consciously use to becoming more of an invisible layer. It starts anticipating needs, simplifying how we interact with tech. We're moving beyond just asking it questions, starting to do things for us.
Like managing workflows.
We're securing our digital lives. That's another big area. AI is really proving its worth in cybersecurity. There's this autonomous penetration tester called XBOW.
XBOW.
Yep. It just reached the top spot on HackerOne. That's a bug bounty platform. And it's a huge milestone, the first time ever an AI has done that.
So XBOW isn't just finding bugs, it's acting like a human hacker, but faster.
Exactly. It operates like a human pen tester, but it scales incredibly fast. It can do comprehensive security tests in just hours, identifying all sorts of vulnerabilities, SQL injection, cross-site scripting, the works. So yeah, from robots learning independently to your entertainment getting interactive and your messages summarized, AI isn't some far-off concept anymore. It's actively being woven into everything, often, like you said, beneath the surface.
And as AI gets everywhere, it inevitably bumps up against complex legal and societal issues. We're seeing courts starting to grapple with this, like in that recent Anthropic case involving AI training data.
Yes, that case is really significant. A judge ruled that using legally purchased and scanned books for AI training could fall under fair use. Now, the key factors were that the use was considered transformative, meaning it wasn't just copying, and crucially, the data wasn't shared outside the company.
Right. But importantly, the judge was very clear that ebooks downloaded illegally, pirated ones, those did not count as fair use. Those are going to a separate jury trial for damages.
Exactly. So the takeaway seems to be training an LLM on unlicensed data might be fair use in very specific narrow circumstances like internal transformative use. But using pirated stuff? Absolutely not. The legal line's being drawn, and it's a fine one for AI developers.
What's really interesting there is how the court is starting to differentiate, isn't it? Between using data within a closed system for training versus just straight-up copyright theft with pirated content. It shows the legal system is trying to define these new boundaries.
It really does. And these tech ripples, they're hitting the workforce hard too. Look at the dating app Bumble. They just laid off 30% of their staff, about 240 people, to save $40 million a year. And that's after a similar 30% cut back in February.
Wow, that's significant.
And Intel also shut down its automotive architecture business, laid off most of that staff to refocus.
So this inevitably brings up that big question. How will AI truly impact jobs? We hear lots of speculation, but these are real examples.
It's a critical question. And Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders actually proposed an interesting alternative viewpoint. He suggested companies should use AI's productivity gains to cut employees' work weeks down to 4 days, rather than just cutting staff numbers.
That certainly makes you think about the different roads we could take as AI changes industries, changes the nature of work itself. And speaking of jobs, our sources are suggesting that the resume is dying.
Yeah, that phrase popped up.
With AI apparently holding the smoking gun because the traditional hiring process is just swamped with automated noise now. So the way we even get hired might be changing fundamentally.
It seems so. The traditional resume, it struggles to get through all the AI-driven applicant tracking systems. The focus seems to be shifting more towards skills-based hiring, actual demonstrations of ability, maybe even AI-powered assessments that try to predict performance rather than just matching keywords.
That's a massive shift for both job seekers and employers.
It really is.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Look at some other incredible tech advances, not directly AI, but just as mind-blowing. The Vera C. Rubin Observatory. It houses the world's largest camera. It's finally online and already taking pictures of the galaxy.
This is huge for astronomy. I mean, in its first 10 hours of operation, it found over 2,100 new asteroids just in our solar system.
10 hours. That's incredible.
It really is. This telescope, sitting way up on an almost 9,000-foot peak in the Chilean Andes, it's going to let scientists explore the cosmos in totally new ways. It's set to fundamentally change our understanding of the universe. It's like giving humanity a brand new, vastly more powerful pair of eyes.
Truly mind-boggling stuff. And then from the vastness of space back down to Earth, we're seeing innovation in renewable energy too. A company called Heirloom.
Yeah, Heirloom. They're building a new kind of wind turbine. It looks very different from the big pinwheels we're used to seeing. They've just broken ground on their pilot site, and they're hoping for commercial systems by 2028.
Interesting. Different approaches to wind power.
And then bring it right down to the micro level. In agriculture, there's a company called Hoofprint Biome. They're using enzymes to actually change a cow's gut microbiome.
To do what?
To cut methane production, which, tackles a pretty significant environmental challenge from livestock.
Okay, so what's the big picture here? It really feels like innovation is firing on all cylinders, doesn't it? From the scale of the entire universe with these new telescopes to new ways of getting clean energy, right down to the microscopic world inside a cow.
Absolutely. It's happening everywhere.
We have covered a ton of ground in this deep dive. From the tricky valuation of Tesla and the sheer scale of Amazon's AI data centers to the ethical questions around AI data and the amazing reach of the Rubin Observatory.
Yeah, the common thread, as you can probably tell, is just how fast technology is moving. It's presenting both these immense opportunities and some really complex challenges for all of us. Critical thinking, being willing to look at things from different angles, feels more essential than ever right now.
So thinking about everything we've touched on, what stands out most to you listening right now? Maybe consider how these advances could impact your work, your free time, or even just your basic understanding of the world, of the universe.
We really encourage you to keep exploring these things, keep asking questions, keep learning as it all unfolds. Because it is unfolding incredibly quickly, and it's reshaping our world in real time.
Well, that's it for this deep dive. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey through the latest in tech and innovation. We hope you feel a little more clued in, maybe a bit more ready to tackle whatever comes next.
Until next time, keep digging into what truly matters.